Hey guys, welcome to another card game review for Werepanther Gaming. Go ahead, pull up a chair, get ready, let's talk about some games. Alright, today we're going to do a review for a game that was suggested by a friend of mine. It's called Uno Flip. It's a variation of just the regular classic Uno. I will put a link in the comment section below, and you guys can go to Amazon, pick it up. I believe I picked it up from Target. So you can also check it out there if you can't find it on Amazon. I did see that there is a Uno Flip 10 comes out in June, but the game itself, it's already out. I got my hands on it. Like I said, I think I picked it up at Target. Uno Flip is a variation of the regular Uno games. The only difference is there is a flip card that can be played, and when it is, there's a whole separate side here, and the penalties are much more severe. Um, Now, inside the box, you do have your regular Uno cards. The difference is these are double-sided, so you've got your dark side and the light side, and we'll get into the different cards here in a little while. This is a game much like Uno. I know you guys have probably played Uno a million times before, and I'd venture to say that most people in America have played Uno, and you know the rules. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence on that. But the game is to play all the cards out of your hand until you have nothing left, and hopefully your friends still have a bunch of cards in their hand. All right, so if you guys have seen any of the previous videos we've made before, I do have a 10-step process in which I evaluate all these games on. Um, and so I will be putting the point values up with each individual section we talk about. So let's go ahead and get started with that. The first category is going to be strategy. I feel there's not a lot of strategy in this game, much like the regular Uno. It forces you to think on your toes. You're constantly drawing cards, playing cards. You're cycling through the cards in your hand, so you just pretty much have to play the cards that are dealt to you. Number two, depth. So the cards that you play have a huge impact on the other players, and we'll get into that a little bit more in the upcoming criteria. Number three is going to be player interaction. This brings us back to the whole depth aspect, where your actions greatly impact the players who follow you. This really comes to light when you play certain cards like the reverses, your skips, your wilds, and of course your flip cards. Um, in this game, you have a lot of the same cards like this. The skips both the same on the light and the dark side. Um, but then you get to your draw two cards, which, as you can see, for on the light side, you're going to just draw two. But when you get to the dark side, it's a draw five. So you're going to have a lot more cards in your hand. Um, the skips, where on the light side, you're going to skip the person playing after you, but on the dark side, you skip everybody else, and it comes right back to you. Um, like we said, reverse is the same, and then the bread and butter of this game is the flip cards. As you can see, there's a light flip and a dark flip, which will flip it back and forth. All right, number four is going to be replayability. This game can be very, very quick sometimes. You end up being extremely close to winning, and then you get forced to draw a million cards. This is one of those games that you can play 100 different times and end up with 100 different endings. It's one of those really fun games you can just pick up, play, and have a ton of fun. One thing I do want to add on this is I'm not sure if there's a new rule or not. Since, to be honest with you, I don't know I'm not sure if I've ever read the instructions, the rules for the original Uno. But there is a way that you can add up your points, and then you play until someone reaches 500. So once you go out, everyone else adds up the cards that they have, and then that gets added onto your score. So it's kind of interesting. It's a good way to kind of change things up. Next is going to be theme interaction. At this point in time, I feel like Uno is a theme in and of itself. I actually did some research. The original Uno came out, it was released in 1971. Um, and I'd go out on a limb and say that most people in America have probably played this game before. So in this instance, the theme interaction is very, very high because it is its own theme. Next, we have luck factor. This game is very, very reliant on luck. As we've talked about before, you can draw a card and immediately play it, or you can keep it in your back pocket. You're ready to play. You never know what's going to get thrown at you. Um, the wild cards allow you to change the color or play it on top of any cards. So it's basically a free card. It's the best card you can have in the game, in my opinion. Next is originality. Once again, since Uno is such a staple game, it really doesn't have any other hype to live up to besides its own game. Of course, Uno Flip is an interesting twist on the same on an old classic. So as far as originality, not so much, but it's a breath of life into a old classic game. All right, components quality. It is a very, very good deck of cards. Very easy to shuffle, standard card sizes, which of course can cause be difficult for smaller cards to handle or smaller hands to handle. But no different than any other card game. I would say it's probably going to be a standard card size. Last but not least, the flip version of Uno takes us on an adventure back to the classic rules, but it keeps us on our toes with the dark side. The biggest change here, like we spoke about before, is the draw 5 instead of the draw 2, the skip everyone card, and the wild draw card. So in this case, the wild draw card, you you tell what color you want, and that person is forced to draw a card until it's that color. And of course the flip cards as well. Last but not least is the fun factor. Uno is always a fantastic game. I know myself and my family, we have probably 5 different versions of Uno. Waterproof Uno and Mario Uno and Uno Flip. We've got all types of different Unos, and we always enjoy playing it. It's a fantastic game that you can pick up, you can play. It never lets you down. It's a fantastic game, and it might cause a fist fight or two. All right, all in all, I believe that Uno Flip is a great game. It's a great breath of fresh air into a classic game. At this point in time, like I said, this game has been out for since 1971, and so being able to kind of change it up just a little bit to keep selling versions and being able to keep people involved, it's a fantastic game in that aspect. It's a great game to pick up. In keeping your car, keeping your backpack, you can just play some games with some friends. And I would definitely suggest picking it up. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this review for Uno Flip. We're going to be doing a couple more reviews. I know that I just talked to a friend of mine. He wrote a children's book, so we're going to be doing a review for a children's book. I think it's going to be 5 different books. It's all part of the same series, so definitely keep your eye up on that. And if you like this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what games you'd like to see reviewed, and we'll see what we can do to get that done. Thanks.